market, where all the robots show up in front of a hangar door and the door opens and a light comes out and it says intelligent machines are coming. That act alone, with the addition of the other commercials that were put out, was phenomenal in educating the market, because it educated the consumer market who was watching a popular sports game, football or baseball or rugby or soccer. So they're at home watching as a consumer, as a private individual, only to be a decision maker going, what does that mean? So it created a lot of interest. And so we believe that the adoption is going to continue to increase from what we've seen. So we are seeing sort of this exponential model. There is what we consider the early adopters, the main that chasm between the early adopters and the mainstream market, and then the late adopters. So we see that people within a given vertical who are competing against each other, like oil and gas, if someone in oil and gas sees that their competitor has adopted this technology, even though they may not understand it, they are going to pursue it. Because in oil and gas, a difference of 10 cents a barrel makes a very big difference. 20% profit per barrel makes a huge difference. Yep. So we're seeing that adoption is being really driven by competition. So there are groups of people who want to be first to market and be on the bleeding edge. And then we see people who are wanting to catch up with the market. And so one of the challenges I think that we are seeing is really in understanding the budgetary process. So we see in this, what we do see a lot of in this space right now is experimentation. So we see a lot of proof of concept, prove it to me on a small model, and let's see what the results are and return them and go back to square one. The biggest competition to APM doesn't come from OEM software developers. It comes from internal data scientists in an organization. Because the number one obstacle that we run into are people who are in what we'd consider, say, operations research. They're the R&D guys, or they're the operational research guys who are the data scientists and PhDs. They're the ones that, like in the rail instance, our greatest obstacle, we beat GE and IBM to get that deal. But our greatest obstacle came from operations research, who are generally tied to informational technology.
They're going to be made redundant.
And the only reason you had the chance to come in as an OEM, the only reason you had that chance is because the internal people couldn't deliver the results. And the challenge is the internal people who are delivering results that have to do with information are most often tied to the IT department. So the IT department sort of works as a gatekeeper.
Hence why the C-suite is quite important. Okay, so so if I can just sort of recap, because unfortunately I have to run.
Understand.
Just to recap. So at the moment it's still extremely early days. You're seeing a lot of kind of proof of concept experimentation. Is that particularly in oil and gas?
Well, it's really across the board. So we see
across the board.
In oil and gas. But the fact is that we are seeing a high conversion rate when we have success in the experimentation side.
Okay. So what sort of conversion rate would you see from the proof of concept type activity?
I can't speak for Aspen as a whole. I can only speak for my space. But right now, our conversion rate has been 100%.
That is quite high. Okay.
So we have not we've yet to lose.
And we focus almost entirely on Aspen Tech and MTEL, a little bit on Aviva. We touched on Predix, but who are the other runners and riders? Who else has sort of got a credible proposition in APM?
Well, I think some of the people who we're seeing